don't like the music, I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
No.
We can let it drop there.
That's all right.
Different things ring my bell.
Yeah.
It's all right.
That's all right.
Some people prefer
There's different songs too.
Keeps us different melody. African.
We're all born on sound. You're born on different sounds.
And we can't remember some of the original songs we used to sing in the earth in the Regenesis times, because a lot of other trainings have come in. You know, when you say to somebody, you know, does this work resonate with you? Oh no, it doesn't resonate with me. Do you know why? Because all of us have been busy resonating with distortion teachings over thousands of years on the planet. And that's why we've got a bigger quantum of training in the body that's a distortion field that we don't harmonise with. But when we start to align and transmute some of those other distortion fields, the actual, you know, symphony of life, music of the spheres, starts to come back in, and it seems so beautiful and natural because that's what our founding frequencies were. You know, realising that this whole planet is a distortion field. Atoms have a half-life here. Things are in a sense of decay and death. All the teachings on the planet, even though there's a lot of truth in them, the distortion fields have been trained into our bodies. Our bodies have become walking out the distortion fields. Spinning Merkaba fields the wrong way, wrong speeds, wrong directions, wrong tonal signatures that have, like the voices, I call them voices of dead men. Like someone who's in a distortion, who's teaching you, the harmonics of their voice, your body's recording every amount of sentience continuously, every atom's recording its environment. And we are archiving all of the environment. And if we've put our focus on some teacher and they've been feeding us with disharmonic energy information, we've been archiving it and saying, well, that's my training, that's what I am, that's my truth. So we embody so many distortions over incarnation after incarnation of training on the planet. We've actually, you know, here as we're to be the guardians of the planet, to bring energy flows back into regenesis, to get the systems of the earth up into a perpetual motion life structure, and we've been trained by intruders to spin energies the wrong way and bring earth down a black hole.
Should we be concerned for the animals? I feel tremendous concern for the treatment of animals.
Terrible what goes on the planet. Even the humans are treated.
Should we be concerned for that, or should we just...
Well, the fact is,
It's a vibration of the earth, but quite a big thing to animals.
the animals can actually teach you so much too.
I know.
They can teach you so much. And you know, the way that they've been domesticated, they've been taken out of their natural setting, trained to become slaves to the humans, but then humans have also been taken out of their natural setting and trained to be food for the intruders. It's like we're all in the chain here.
Animals are a little bit protected because they don't have a language.
Well, they've got song, they've got frequencies.
Birds have,
Yeah, whales got language, dogs got language, cats got language.
but their own language.
Yeah,
not
they haven't got
influenced.
they've got an energy signature that probably doesn't need the vibratory
Yeah,
data that we can pick up here.
they're pretty safe, telepathic, aren't they? Grant, I had a question about the Earth and the Sala rise. The Earther is Earth. That's its Earth spirit name. So it says here, the Earth and Sala rise. So is that Earth sun inside the Earth, or
I'll just explain
the
that.
frequency of the Earth?
I'll explain that a little bit. Here's a Gananda. You understand the Earth Asala principle. Right, the Earth being in a decaying state. The matter base is in decay. The time rip technologies come into the broadcasting system of the Earth. In other words, it's aligned with black hole. Harmonically, the matter base is being ripped out. It's diminishing down black hole. The Earther is a hosting star, which is organic, on this density 1, 2, 3. It has its 12 structure in place, and it's regenerating, going up in evolutions of consciousness ascension. It is surrounding Earth. It's all around us. You can't perceive it with your perception because it's on a different angular rotation or particle spin. The atoms are on a different angle. The electrons, or the parts of the atom, are on a different frequency.
It's an aura, or it's a...
No, it's here. It's here. It's as real as this. If you were to go onto there now, it would be as solid as this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every dimension is that solid, but it's on a different angle of perception. You can't see it. So Eartha is a hosting star.
For the different vibration, it's actual like our.
It's not quite as distorted as this. It's in a perpetual motion organic structure,
No,
but
but it's that.
it's palpable, tangible. If you were there, you'd say it's just like here, literally.
Would you call it parallel universe?
No, it's a part of the organic living system that's come to help this dying system. Right, so the Milky Way galaxy used to belong to Andromeda galaxy, and it's been pulled off towards black hole, constantly being pulled away.
So it's only been placed here recently. It's not something that's always existed.
No, it's a reparation. It's a regenesis program of the living structure wants to help the dying structure come back online and regenerate itself.
So Earth never had her own.
Well, Earth has always been a regenesis planet. It fell from second harmonic into first harmonic, and it was in the regenesis, and the seeding of human consciousness, human angelic consciousness on the planet was to re-evolve the systems of Earth to come up. As guardians, we're going to get the system of Earth back up into perpetual motion, eternal life. And it's been such a state of decay under intrusion from invader race lines that now it has a hosting star called Eartha, which is keeping Earth on a respirator, breathing her while she's trying to get the consciousness up into a state of uplifting.
Otherwise, that would have been it for Earth.
Well, Earth is being held in that way until 2047 to 2051, where Eartha, that star, is doing a natural star fire into higher dimensions.
Isn't it actually like when you're talking about it's really like an ethereal?
No.
That's what I thought.
No, it's actually an organic three-dimensional planet. It's a star. It has its radiant spectra on light. It's actually got 14, 15 dimension structure operating. It's like a star.
Okay, well it makes sense because the third dimension is a polarity, so we've always
the third
negative
dimension,
one and there's a positive one.
Well, the third dimension, if it's harmonic,
Yeah.
is not in duality. It's in harmony.
Yes.
But Earth is in duality because the harmony is gone, because the disconnect from perpetual motion life, God source.
Right.
So who resides on Eartha?
Yes. We do journeys into there. Most of these dial-up guys are there.
That's amazing.
Most of these dial-up guys
Is
like
that where we go when we go
Aquafari,
inside the
Aquari,
Earth?
Hatua. These are some race lines that are in the hosting system. So Earth is being hosted by Eartha. It's a star.
Right, so,
and it's got populations.
There are beings on Earth just as there are beings
Yes,
on Earth.
and they have high consciousness and they're able to help us in ways. Just like our sun, there's populations living inside the sun.
Yes, I've seen them.
Yeah.
So they're not the masters because they would have been conditioned with the old programming. They're different.
Well, the masters, the masters that the New Age people talk about, the masters, they're on about fifth dimension, which means we're 1, 2, 3, they're 5, maybe up to 6.
But it's
Still separate.
who you can connect to, isn't it? Because they go up much higher.
They go much higher.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, some race lines are in the hosting, or what we call the Christic Regenesis, interdimensional association of free worlds. Some are in separation and they've got contracts with black hole alignment. It's a personal choice, and of the groups of people like Pleiadians, some Pleiadians are in the hosting system, some are in the distortion field.
Right.
Arcturians, some are in the hosting, some are in the distortion field.
So it's like we're all sort of going through this process of evolution, if you like.
Anyone in this galaxy,
Yeah.
anyone in this galaxy, basically they're being pulled off the Andromeda galaxy. They're in a black hole alignment and are being pulled down as food into black hole. That's us. Yeah.
But we're not anymore.
Yes, we're still being pulled down. The alignment is very severe at the moment.
I don't believe that we are being pulled down.
Well, let's put it this way. There's a theme being brought in the latest workshop that we saw in April. We haven't seen any since then. A lot of work's still been going on. Where it's called the fail-safe, like a reset. Where I've seen this in my own mind, and I've been calling for it for 2 years. It's like the outer constructs of consciousness. Like we have our planet here, surrounded by Eartha. There's the sun. It's surrounded by Sala. It's another hosting system for the sun because the sun's in the death row. Sol. Yeah. So everything is being hosted basically in this galaxy. There's some parts that don't need hosting, they're still alive.
From, Grant? Sorry, the hosts.
They are part of, say, different matrices in parallel adjacent that are here. Crystal River Trimatrix host, they're here to help align and try to bring things back into perpetual motion life.
So they have an embodiment of a massive scale.
Massive consciousness.
The whole galaxy.
So if you saw our galaxy, it's a very, very small part and it belongs to Andromeda Galaxy. Andromeda and ours basically are just one galaxy.
Yeah.
Then you've got mega galaxies, and then there's hundreds of thousands of galaxies that make up a universe. Well, the universe that we're in is a very, very small, infinitesimal part of a bigger structure. It goes right out into cosmos, cosmosa, cosmea, cosminia. It goes out into much, much bigger structures of...
that we can't even fathom.
Yeah, well, that's what we are. We came from the wholeness of all that being, and that's what our anatomy is. It's the whole structure.
Right.
That's why when we join back with everything, that's when we know ourselves.
Thank you, I'm loving it all.
Come back any time, once a month, but we're having a bit of time off over Christmas.
First Saturday of the month.
February, though.
February.
February.
You know, take a whole weekend sometime.
We must do.
Yeah, you
Thanks,
too.
Helen.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So if you can understand that
Oh, so it's that big.
Eartha is hosting Earth. Sala
Okay.
is hosting the Sun.
Yeah.
On the 25th of May 2007, the prana seed atom of the Sun was destroyed by alien intervention to bring the Sun in line with the parallel Sun, so they cause a toral rift, alignment black hole, which is a very powerful mechanism for sucking energy out. And that's why the Sun is in a Barlow, which means a death cycle, and the ring collapses.
Why is she, why has the Sun, then, if she's still in a death cycle, why has she become, or he or whatever it is, why has the Sun become so bright
Because it's
and so big?
it's what they call ring collapse. There's normally a tight containment of perpetual motion life would be working in an organic Sun. The Sun has been in some distortion fields for quite a long time. Now it's in a death throw. It's Barlow cycle, and as it dies, it's like certain emanations. As it releases one ring of its containment, it'll emanate a lot of.
And can that be because they're lining up to the suns are going to empower each other?
No, it's actually a death. It's actually a death.
But if, okay.
So that's
But
why.
why can't it be the opposite?
Because the way it is they're saying that that's happened because of intruder raceline intervention that's trying to suck all of this Milky Way galaxy down black hole and other parts of structure as well.
Right.
It's part of their technology, the way that they eat and consume systems. That's what's happening. And that's why there's an evacuation notice. There's an evacuation notice on this planet, 200-year evacuation notice. Migrate your consciousness off the planet into higher dimensional parts of yourself so you can carry on with the evolution of your original self there. So don't leave parts down here in distortion fields.
Right.
Transmute, regenerate, relocate your consciousness into a viable system.
Okay, so, and is it the ones that will leave this planet, are they unable to do that?
Some don't know about it, some are beginning to know about it, some don't want it, some are working for the black hole team and they got no sense of compassion or
So
alignment.
various reasons
Various
why
reasons.
they're going to be...
Some are coded more black hole, some are coded Christic reality. So those who
They'll
are
go to
coded,
where they are meant to go.
they'll go to where they're meant to go.
Yes,
For
indeed.
example, the Christians will go with Jesus' group.
Yes,
There's pockets
yes.
of orbs of groups of consciousness out there.
Yes.
What I've seen.
But there's certain
come on.
pathways.
No, that's how I'm seeing it
Oh,
too.
This work describes the three Christic pathways. Christic meaning your intention is regenesis, even though you might be caught in a black hole thing you can't escape. Your intention is I want regenesis, I want life.
Yeah.
Some other race lines have been created, like for example Anunnaki were created exactly for the purpose of annihilating angelic humans. That's their role. They've got 11th dimensional frequency ceiling and they can't get above it.
And digging gold.
Well, that's part of their structure is to rape planets.
So, Grant, if the black holes line up,
Yeah.
can't they just line up and then all suck in on each other and diminish?
Well, unfortunately, it's like a black hole. Major energy has got a wormhole that goes into another living system, and it's just pulling energy out down to that.
So, black
matrix.
hole against black hole would have to
Well, no,
combust.
What they're doing is
Supper.
the alignment. We're lining up with the black hole. Our living structure is becoming more and more and more aligned.
Which one? Which black hole? There's hundreds.
Well, there's hundreds in the galaxy, but there's one major black hole. If you see our,
In the Milky Way?
Yeah.
well, in the Milky Way,
Okay, sorry.
21st in this month's alignment.
but if you see it,
Is it?
The alignment with the black hole.
We're aligned with a black hole,
Yeah.
as well as the sun.
Says that
Yeah,
Was the center of the
and
galaxy.
our Earth, yes.
if you see
I
that,
know that.
there's a parallel adjacent. A parallel means it's on our opposite, and it's adjacent. In other words, let me explain it this way.
Yeah, dark and light.
We have, this is a particle body.
Tell Jason what his name.
Oh,
Jason, he's stood next to someone. You can,
This is a
he's stood
particle
next
body
to
here.
Add Jason.
Yeah.
You can see this is a particle manifestation. You can't see your antiparticle. You can't really observe your antiparticles, but they're existing in the same space, different time cycle, different direction. So your particle, antiparticle, the atoms spinning through each other, they're very spacious, and in communication with creation point door, there's a harmonizer, so there's no annihilation between particle and antiparticle. You are keeping a body alive here. In the parallel, that's what we call the parallel. Parallel existence was attacked first, and so that's called it's called the alpha. The alpha was where the black hole intrusion began on the parallel, and then now it's coming in through the sun into this particle universe, which is
Omega?
the omega. That's the finishing. Alpha omega, it means death. It means I'm starting to consume you here, and this is where I'll finish consuming you. That's our agenda, alpha omega.
And that's how the Omega files that were set up
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah, it's a black hole agenda.
Brandon, who's the close Michael brother, and
Yeah, well, that's black hole. Anything that says alpha omega, basically on the internet, it might sound biblical, but in actual fact,
Egyptian, isn't it?
that's where they're starting. We're starting to consume the system in that antiparticle universe. We're going to finish consuming all matter base in the particle universe and come through the toral rift through the center of the two suns as they work together, particle sun and the antiparticle sun. So that's how they take it out.
What I'm starting to sense now is that the black holes, which is absorbing light, if you like, does it absorb? I'm beginning to think that it absorbs light into that darkness again for rebirth into whether it be another dimension or another.
That's a false teaching. I believe so, because black hole, white hole, vortex, energy, set, they work together in harmony.
Yeah.
So on the atomic level, in our body,
Yep.
between this particle and antiparticle self, this black hole, white hole, vortex energy exchange information, continue breathing through source continuously through black hole, white hole. When you see a parallel adjacent matrix that's created a wormhole through technology that comes in and like little tendrils latches itself on and harnesses energy from a living system, that is energy being pulled out to feed a distortion field that's disconnected from source.
Just have to break down their technology.
Is it feeding a distortion field, or is it in fact going on to another evolutionary, whatever, I don't know what to call it?
Their eventual implosion, if we chopped off their supply now, they would be in a finite system and it would consume its own resources until it finally didn't have anything else.
Well, it couldn't be chopped off, could it?
Well, only by us not supplying it. So let's put it this way. If we do the work within ourselves and say, I realise that I'm the hybrid offspring of the intruders and that I am supplying energy into their matrix through the very structure of my anatomy, and now through my regenesis option that I know about, I'm going to regenerate myself and I'm going to transmute those dark codes, and I'm not going to feed that matrix. If everyone did that, that matrix would quickly implode and turn back to space dust, come through creation point door as a new structure.
Or
now that's what
but it would have to go into annihilation, because or regeneration. If it comes into regeneration, which it could possibly do, because at every moment of time, every part of creation that's in destruction is offered a new covenant of peace. Come into the regenesis. We're here to help you come and revitalise yourself. No, we don't want it. there's going to come to the point where the black hole team will have to get their supply cut off before they'll drop.
By putting a big ball in front of their wormhole and blocking it.
Yeah, well, they've done
Like a
it.
vacuum.
This book talks about capping
Dead
wormholes.
planet.
This book talks about capping wormholes that have been running in the Earth before, and they've capped wormholes that stopped their matrix running certain broadcasting systems in the Earth structure. They've been capped and capped and capped, and now a lot of them are being uncapped, and we're getting major rush of energy. We're getting entities coming into the planet through various craft of different
Tie them in
dimensional
a
forms.
knot.
So are there in fact two types of black holes, like one that will
Fire.
consume and the other just
No,
that you go through the
No.
light to be rebirthed?
no, that's
at
a teaching to encourage people to go to black hole. It's a part of their own training to get people to come into their systems.
So when I've gone into creation like that whiteness or that, at the back of that there's darkness.
Yeah, there's always darkness in behind that because we came from the dark matter template.
That's what I'm trying
There's a dark matter template
Yeah.
which holds all light,
Yes. And it's
And
like
that's where
from that.
God is.
and it's more bright than light body. Light body is what you've accrued to yourself in expression in manifestation, but within a limitation of a density. The source of all light is dark. It's like God hides itself in the darkness and said, let there be light. So as you can restore your consciousness and gain more light, you get brighter and brighter and brighter. So there's a dark matter template.
Yes.
And through the angles of shutting off and reflection and particleization, you can create a matter manifestation of a certain density and self-identity. So
really that's what I was trying to say. When you become so bright, that you'll revert to the darkness.
well, let's put it this
But
way.
it's
When you
not
become so
evil,
bright,
is it?
no, when you can become so bright, a thing of a lesser light cannot see you, but you put a dark shield there so it doesn't get burned. But when that comes into the light, and it can come into the same level of light, it can see you can see it, you're communicating on that level. Do you know what I'm saying?
So is that why I can see this darkness at the back of?
I think so, because that's probably the dark matter template, where all life
The
emerges
void.
from it.
Yes,
It's like a void.
that's my understanding. Like,
But it's not black hole.
no,
Black
it's
hole,
not. No, there's
Okay.
like that. That's why I said to you. There's like two
Okay.
different.
What's
like
the
there's
difference?
The difference is fallen race lines created a black hole to
So it's
invade
just
living
got a
systems
Force.
so that they'll suck energy down to
Yes,
feed
so
the
that's
matrix.
different,
It's a
isn't it,
force.
to what?
According to that paper, the dark constellations going towards the end of the 21st of they're going to light up. They're going to be lit up. The dark constellations. So it's going
Well,
to
we'll
be
see
light
them in the day.
constellations. Yeah. Will we?
We should see the dark stars in the day,
Yeah.
because
Well,
we see the
that's
light
what's
ones
gonna
in the
happen.
night, and they're still there, the stars.
Well,
We
that's
just
what's going to happen
the
according
background.
to that paper. Okay.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably Merkaba Death Stars. Probably dark energy.
What are we supposed to do on the 21st? Just wait and see, meditate?
They're all this.
I think it's going to be business as usual.
Yeah.
It's just like we create our own reality anyway. You've got so many minds on the planet creating something for that date.
it's an opportunity for you to create your own new future.
To connect
Yeah.
all of
Yeah,
the
so
computers
just
on
sit
their
in your own
head.
heart
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
create what you want and what you're
To
here for.
go through me siphon into the smart meter to the echelon, so they virtually have a big brain, right, which contains virtually all our knowledge to make this a huge one, still trying to be God.
It's all technology. They never do anything with it. Yeah.
What sort of technology?
Just this scientific knowledge that they've got.
Oh,
You know how the intruder race lines give knowledge to the world leaders, and the world
Yes.
leaders step it down until they, it's a chain of knowledge.
yeah.
Well, all the technology is coming to the planet today. All the echelon where they scan every telephone
Yes.
call. Every telephone call is
Good old Big Brother.
right on
When you
now.
do
They
it.
know everybody's talking. It's all scanned.
Yeah,
Right?
when
All
the
emails,
headers
everything
come out,
else.
he's a whistleblower. He
E-
wrote the
everything.
software on the Russians.
When you're sitting in front of your computer, they're recording everything
Yeah.
you say.
I put a sticky tape over
No, it
my
doesn't matter.
camera.
You're the
Doesn't
only
matter.
other person I know that does that.
Bluetooth covers all of that.
Put a
They,
brief.
they can read your computer whether it's on or off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And you know, Bill Gates with the laptops and all that, there's a certain part of the hard drive you can't seem to say, well, where is that? You know, it says there's such and such a gig, and I've checked every file, and there's still about this much of it missing. You know, volume.
Yeah.
So what it's doing is it constantly records all the conversations that you're having in your room.
Yeah, and some goes missing.
And when you go back online, it downloads all the information, and then it clears that space out again. But you don't even know that you've been recorded even while you
And
weren't
you don't
online.
get all of it either, do you? They pinch half of it.
Yeah.
But they're saying at the moment there's a bit of a worry because the people, the scientists that are discovering or have discovered the God particle want to do this experiment again on the 12-12. When the suns are all lining up, they're going to test this again and really use the energy and send off lasers through the electromagnetic field.
They're crazy.
They're crazy.
They were blowing holes in
They're
the
actually
atmosphere.
very
with
worried
atomic
about
bombs.
it.
Yeah.
Because lights of lasers will go out into the fields and go into the earth and then be forced out and move the plates.
On the
This
21st.
is a prophecy from the Mayans.
The 21st? On the 21st.
Sometime within that time frame.
In December. Okay.
It's not.
You see, because the Mayan 2012 alignment was fairly accurate because those race lines were put on the planet to wind time back. They were hybrids that were running through the mother Maya matrix, South America, North America, and around Asia. There was a whole big complex, and as they were bringing the consciousness in, they were actually causing the black hole alignment for 2012, because the normal alignment would have been later. They were actually shortening time rip technology, shortening time, to bring it back in with another alignment that happened 10,000 years ago, where straight rush down black hole. So, Mayan matrix, it's a black hole agenda. Right?
Okay.
What about the Georgian calendar, which actually says it's a few days
Gregorian.
Gregorian, sorry.
Look, there's all of those time things. You know, they changed something 15 days here. They changed something, you know, here and there and
it's
everywhere.
another sort of concept. Isn't
They've
it?
changed the longitude from Giza to Greenwich. So everyone navigating the planet, all of a sudden their consciousness is shifted around the planet this way and they're causing a different effect.
Oh, it's all way too complicated.
It's very important to pull our attention out of those things.
But
But it's so strong, it's hard to.
But when you get a much bigger womb or a much bigger morphogenetic field, a much greater mother, you know, we're saying support matrix, and you're looking down at yourself from that high perspective, you're not focusing on this perspective here.
No.
So think happy on the 21st. All the time.
Yeah.
Think happy, but also keep your alignments going with source. You know, we say God source, or whatever you want to say.
Be a conduit.
Make me the instrument of your peace. Make me the instrument of your joy. Make me the instrument of your love. Make me the instrument, you know, I am one with God. Actually, just sing that song.
Alrighty. Well, I might have it on the tape.
in the book,
You're getting a cup of tea, aren't you? Have a look.
You can still sing it there. We'll hear.
So look, there's a whole lot of stuff going on in this planet, you know.
Oh, it really is.
exciting though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
15.
It's about time.
Page 15.
That time there was a bit of a shift, I think.
Let's see,
Thank you.
that's a summary.
The only thing that concerns me is that how many people like us are there around and how many more there are
Help.
to help. And then the duration, I'm a bit impatient at the moment. I want enlightenment tomorrow.
Things are happening on a quantum level now.
Yeah.
And consciousness is containing
Monkey
the upgrades.
effect.
Yeah. The 144,000th Christ syndrome. You know, it's like when there's 144,000 Christ, that's what they say. It's a quantum.
Groups.
All of a sudden it'll transform other consciousness.
Into a big Merkaba. That's the makeup of the Merkaba.
That's probably why they have to
144.
do that thing on the 12-12.
You know, there's a lot of groups.
Stuff up the earth to do, and a lot of groups are going to be.
You know, do you know one of the biggest distortions on the planet?
Yeah.
Because groups have been doing reverse spins and flows and ratios and doing grid walks all over the planet in the name of helping the planet, They've been doing it through their training, which is quite often a distorted training, and they're building greater distortion energies into the planet. And this is what's one of the major
Even
things.
though their intent was good.
Yeah, their intent's good, but they've got the training to say that, you know.
So just go and love it. That's all you have to do.
Well,
not
that's
do
why they
anything
say
specifically.
If you sing the frequency songs on the grids, they're actually original codes of our creation coming back down, and the frequency is actually changing the grids. Because, you know, there's people here, not here, but I mean, in England, for example, they walk down the ley lines,
Oh, yeah.
and they walk down the Archangel Michael, the Mary Magdalene, this and that,
Oh, yeah.
and they're strengthening all those
Lines, currents.
all those currents that are joined into the hibernation zones. You know, like the Archangel Michael Collective.
Yeah.
It's a siphoning system. It came into alignment, and then it came back out of alignment because most of the members felt diminished when they tried to come under the alignment.
But if we just bless those lines that have been doing that all those
Bless
years,
them with a Christic intention.
yeah, then that will just change and
See,
generate.
for example, when you see the pattern of the 12-tree grid, perpetual motion life, if you're doing a Merkaba spin with what they call the tree of life, do you remember some of the Drumbelow Melchizedek stuff?
I never did his courses. I
Right,
haven't
they got
taught though.
they got a thing, but it's not like that. It's similar. But it's
Yeah.
got different angles, different mathematics, and people just observing a symbol code and saying, "Oh, I want the tree of life," but doing the wrong techniques through the wrong technology. They're carrying that imprint, even though their intention's good. They've got that in their fields. I want life. I want life. Oh, look, I've got this thing. I've been doing the training with what's his name?
But Brad, if you've got the intention for the pureness, won't that change it? I mean, there's
Provided
got
you're
to be
prepared
a
to
way
change.
out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Provided you're prepared to change and realising your humility that, oh, I've been doing something that's distorted, and suddenly
So,
saying,
please fix
I'm
it.
connecting to higher, truer alignment.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to change, yes, I'm prepared to lay down all of my previous concepts on that because I know I've been adding to the distortion. If you've
Or
got
just
that
change my
humility,
imprints that I have made.
and that's why this work is here, to imprint you with original encryptions. Perpetual motion life.
Apparently, Drunbelow's latest book, he's admitted that he's been doing them wrong.
And I've met Drumbelow a few times, and he's always said,
His new books, he's reversed
I'm
it.
prepared to actually change. And when I met him,
Yeah.
I had a good talk with him. But
Oh, in spirit.
no, in flesh.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's a very good-hearted
Yeah, he
person.
is.
Yeah,
he is.
he is.
He is.
Really lovely.
Yeah. So it's not like we're against anyone,
Yeah, no,
but
everyone's
if the teachings are wrong, they're wrong. If the teachings are right, they're right.
Yeah.
And if we've been training in wrong teachings, we think it's right and we're doing wrong.
The same with this too. I questioned it
Yeah.
in the beginning.
I
Is
still
this
question
right,
everything.
You know? I still question.
I still question
Like
everything.
the black circle in the tree of life, I don't agree with that.
It's not supposed to be black.
Oh,
Just
it's meant to be indigo.
Oh, you did that.
Oh, these colours aren't exactly spot on for this.
Okay,
And
just the
then
black.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'll finish. So,
I was just going to sort
No,
of
I
say,
don't.
corroborating what you said, that in the late 80s, I was given this message, and I said last weekend, that the whole theatre is being shut down, i.e. our planet, you know. The theatre is, as a theatre for,
planet drama.
yeah, for even a new and better, the playground is being closed down, so that's what you were
It's in
saying,
line with it,
different
yeah.
terminology,
No more games.
taking
That's
out
right.
our
Move our consciousness up to a viable field.
Yeah, this is, so we're going to look out, not...
And I've had that a few times too, where the curtains are closed across the stage, ready for them to open for the new act.
But not on the, but no, well, no, that's what I got, no. There won't be a new act because the theatre is being shut down. The stage is not waiting for a new performance. This theatre is being
Being
shut down.
Oh, I just get the curtains
Okay.
closing
In
on
In other
that
words, the
light.
Matrix that we've been playing is finished.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just get it slightly differently, where like that era is finished now, the new one is beginning. So that's how
And if we're going to be the actors on the stage, we might as well be acting as the ones we are.
And not
It's not an
goofy.
act, really, is it?
no, it's certainly not.
No,
Oh dear me.
So let's go for this I am prayer. It's quite a good, it's a metaphysical prayer. It's very simple. It's in English. Okay, has everyone got it there? I am a child of the original one. I am a ray of the original sun. I am wholeness, I am love. I am the truth that spans the sands of time. I am the rainbow of the very first shine. I am music, I am light. Let the light descend upon me, guide the way with golden light. No other God will stand before me as I embrace the one true life I was born to live by the will of the original one. I am the face of the original God. I am the voice of the original sound. I am a wave upon the ocean of eternal light. I reach my arms up to the heavens and say I am, this I am. The presence of the Ancient One springs forth at my command. I am one with God. I am, this I am. And as I decree it, so it is. So
We know it all.
this whole book is all about metaphysical sound tones and matter constructs spanning distortion fields, realigning with true fields, and bringing the flows in. This is just the song book. I've actually got quite a few even workshop books that came out, like what they call K1, K2, K3, K4, which is Kathara, and it talks about, right from the very beginning, talks about, everything's categorised, listed in here. It talks about a thing called particle phasing. How does a single particle of consciousness come into existence, because there is pre-particle constructs, but particle being coming out from creation point door. So in other words, beyond creation point door, there's already living structure that comes out into reality fields. How does first particle of consciousness phase, and what is it? So it's one particle, it splits into dualities, electric, magnetic, and every polarity that you can imagine. So as it comes out, it is light emission, expansion, oscillation. As it reports back to source, sound, contraction, vibration, potential. And there's an enmeshment between the particle, between the particle and antiparticle. So this is ante, A-N-T-E, antiparticle creates antiparticle and particle polarization. But they're still tethered together with the original ante. Then it replicates at ante, goes through creation point and door, gathers quanta, comes back out into expression in space-time matrices as parts of your own consciousness evolution on how you gather intelligence about yourself and what it is. So it's such an incredible teaching. It goes right back to every part of creation you could possibly imagine. It's all described in perfect descriptions, and every part of the descriptions has a song or something to go with it. It's got a frequency key that brings in that work. So I'm just trying to see if I can find first particle of consciousness where it talks about primal substance, particle, particum.
What book's that one, Ben?
That's K1.
Oh, right, that one, yeah, I haven't read that.
That's just where it talks about the first phasing of consciousness, switching off and on of the hologram, and how it creates chelons, which are chains of encryption of mathematical angles of crystalline structure that start the foundation of matter and consciousness, and how they all come into manifestation and expression. It goes on and on and on. It just tells you.
Reading, isn't it?
It tells you all about it, right?
So K1, is that, can you get that like in weekly instalments at the newsagents?
K2 or a pair of skis.
Oh, I'm with you.
That's $60.
That would be great.
And the song book?
The sign book, I think, $15
Yes,
online.
anything.
Oh, right, they send it out.
They send it out.
From overseas or from...
Yeah, from
The
America.
Australian office.
Well, the Australian office, but they've been a bit slack lately, I think.
They,
Oh, no, they're all right.
They're all right, are they?
Couple of
We've got
things,
K1.
yeah.
Falling down a black hole.
So it's K1, K2, and we learn about energy healing, how the template of the human body is constructed, how to put symbol codes back in, for example, that symbol code there, the Akasha God seed. We have beneath our feet, the spinning disc 12 inches beneath your feet. We have, on a massage table, some practitioner would load the codes into their own body, and they would actually send the energy lines through, spin the directions, put the codes in, and actually help you to see that, just lining up the body.
Yeah.
We've got lotus tap, tap, tap codes in the body, but all sorts of stuff like that we've done over the years.
I
It's just,
see whole workshops in it.
yeah.
I feel like I'm going to university. I'm a happy.
We don't actually
We
hold
all
the
feel
workshops
like that,
ourselves.
don't worry.
We actually, we've always just, gone to one of the workshops when they've come here.
Yeah.
It's so hard when you try and speak about this sort of stuff because you can only give it out from the level that you're at, and you might be changed in about a month's time.
Oh, you can't go back over the work some ways, but every moment of consciousness contains all the previous work, if you know what I mean. So it's like consciousness is able to infuse it now, more so because the time is here and there's much more support.
It's presented well too.
It's a funny kind of an idea that if someone said, look, I've only got a very short time to get all this information, they could never possibly go through all the ordeal of getting it the way that it was given over 10 years or so.
No.
Although when we started back in 2007,
Okay.
we did back dates and we bought the workshops, got online and did a whole lot of the techniques. I was just watching, reading, and all that sort of stuff. And we sort of caught up with it, and now we've embodied a lot of it and we can deliver a lot of it because it actually emanates now because it's coming in as a stream of energy that we carry.
But Grant, you could almost say that that's right for now, but in,
There's
say, 12 months.
There's more.
Ashiyana's still
quantum
channeling.
leaps.
She's still bringing that all
That's what I'm
through.
getting at.
Just as computers keep changing virtually weekly, it's virtually.
Or I was going
It
to,
is.
I was going to
isn't
talk about channeling because Darren was saying about channeling, and Ashiyana says that she doesn't channel, and channeling can be dangerous because you're actually connecting to an entity that's not you,
Yeah.
and it could be a benevolent, could be malevolent,
Could be anything.
pretending to be something that you are wanting it to be,
That's the impression I get.
right? And so if you're channeling Archangel Michael, or if you're channeling this or that or whatever, you don't know what you're channeling, but Ashiyana says she does kelontic data streaming, so in other words, the kelons of the elemental structure of the constitution of the higher stations of consciousness that are your own reality, your originality. You have members in the councils that are parts of you that want to stream energy down to you, and that as your vessel becomes fitted to express that, flows of life will come in and up and around and through you to become that again. And it's you that you're talking to.
Yes, but aren't elemental structures of a lower dimension?
Yeah, lower and higher. So there's higher elemental structures
Of course.
in every
Yeah,
matter
yeah.
base, and there's lower, deeper ones of every matter base.
Of course.
Because matter base is made up of elements,
Yeah.
and you've got atoms, and inside an atom, you've got these inside atoms, and inside subatomic particles. In actual fact, science even says that you've got universes right inside the nucleus.
Yeah.
So there's inner worlds. You actually go into the inner worlds and expand internally, actually expanding internally.
Which is what nuclear does.
Nuclear, and between the atoms.
Nuclear. New and clear.
We got atoms, and between the atoms.
Clears it out.
As you well know, I channel, and I've found over years and years now that when I've been mulling over one aspect, like the relevant being or master or whatever comes in to sort of teach me that bit, but as I've gone over time, they seem to have got higher and higher and higher. But what you're really saying is
It's part of you. That's what you
What I'm saying is, get to the true you, not to somebody else.
Yes, okay. And sometimes when I channel, I know darn well it's coming from.
Because some of the distortion
source.
fields, some of them can be on high dimensions. Like we're talking about, the reason that the shield got shattered in the workshop in April was that two of the speakers in this work were coded with what they call white fall. In other words, when the fall first occurred, certain race lines were created in a way to carry healing codes for the fallen structure. And they were called White Dragoon.
So it was destined.
No, well, it was part of a remedial package. In other words, it became a fall. Source code said, oh, we'll send some other beings in there to help clean up that mess. But they got dragged into the mess and couldn't get back out of the mess. And so they were called the fallen Equerry. So that from the very first primal high frequency,
Like Lucifer.
high frequency entities that came with a good intention to help got sucked into the mess. Because the manipulators of the technology were using a synthesizer, kind of a facsimile machine technology, to divert and pervert original plasma flows and create synthetic quasi-plasma flows that then became accepted as a reality. People got entrapped within a world that was looked like light and bright and everything else, but wasn't connected fully to source, partially.
You know what flitted into my mind then?
The internet.
Yeah.
Beautiful looking pictures on there, but
Yeah,
we don't know where it's connected to.
Yeah.
If anything says we will help you, no thanks. I will help myself.
Okay, so I get
You
through.
won't have any doctors then.
They're not helping anyone.
No, you can help them.
You won't have any
as well.
fundamentalist Christians praying for you either. Oh, I don't know that.
You can medicate or meditate. What were you going to say, Anna?
I was sort of going to say that at times I get through such stuff that I would call wisdom. Sometimes it's so advanced I have to go back and read it a few times before I really got it. But then I would listen to what you're saying, and you know, if I took it the wrong way, I could be saying your teaching is exactly what, you know, the dark stuff is, like undermining. Do you see what I'm saying? Like the truth and the purity that I think I'm getting through. Do you understand?
The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
we should have a bit of pudding.
The proof is in the pudding. We'll go and have something.
Speaking of food,
You're going to prove it to yourself.
Right.
You're going to prove
they are mental.
You're going to be your own guinea pig. You're going to prove it to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when some technology comes out like this and you read it and you see it, it transcends other teachings that have become stale in the light of this.
Funny you saying that. You know that night we went to the ashram.
Yeah.
That night I came home and I had a vision of all those, what are they called, monks, sitting up on a high shelf, and they're all covered in dust. Like, and
Their time was up.
It wasn't
it was, and I looked at it in sheer amazement and thought, yeah, it's all stale, it's all old-fashioned, it's all out.
Been a part of the old ages.
And then the next bit was, which is so fanciful, but the next thing was I was sitting up there on the end and I'm shining.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
There you go.
Well, there's a sense of humour there.
Oh, you've got to laugh at it, mine.
Then it's
I'd
gone.
like to make a comment here. Muktana's fundamental teaching is that God in you is you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's no dust on that.
No, well, there you go.
No, but the Christian right wing, not at all.
They can't hear the truth because they've been taught for so long the distortion fields. I mean, just like every religion.
That's like science.
It's just
Science,
like it's
religion.
repetition,
It's
isn't
harder
it? It just
for them.
goes.
Dead words are dead men.
Yeah.
In other words, did your teacher die? Yes. Was he teaching the truth? How could he be teaching the truth if he
He
died?
rose again.
He would have proved to himself the truth by not dying.
But he rose again. He wanted to prove that you can't die.
Yeah, but you see, the Jesus story, or the Yeshua story, would be, the wicked men took him and killed him, But he didn't defend that body. He didn't defend the body that was born of a woman under the curse of sin and death. He didn't defend it. But the light and truth rose it back up again to bear witness to truth. You know what the Bible says about Jesus? It says, "For this cause came I into the earth, to bear witness to truth." That's the only reason Jeshua came, was to bear witness to truth. What's the truth? You can't kill me because I'm not the body. But the light that's in the body can transform the body and take it back to light.
Yeah.
Yes.
Divine truth.
And then I look at the way humanity is just living longer now, and I sort of think to myself, well, right, is that because we're now absorbing a bit more of the light?
In some ways it's probably true, because the old natives, they used to live to 40 or 50 years old. Now men are living to 80, 90. But that is the affluence of society, the hopefulness of creating something because of the tangibility of, things in your hands to do something, right?
Yeah, but is it in truth just that we are light and our consciousnesses are expanding, bringing in more of that light? And
In a lot of ways, yeah.
So I have food ye know not of, like it's the light, it's that's making us live longer.
Yeah, and
If you look at the elderly, there doesn't seem to be much light or wisdom. They're so drugged and so senile.
Well, unfortunately, isn't it, Sylvia? Yeah.
No, there doesn't seem to be much quality.
Polarity.
To 90, which they never did.
That's a calcification of the pineal gland, though, isn't it?
But they're not living in
And
that.
Well,
so if
That's what
they're
it
being
is.
enlightened more,
There have been people in other
then,
locations
the body will
I think my clients in the
been out of
radio
the
station.
mainstream.
The
Very
manner
long
comes
and
from the
prospered.
pineal gland.
There was long, starship.
When you're
being
talking,
enlightened.
when you're talking about
cup of tea, anyone?
Yeah.
Hey, hey, hey.